The airports are buzzing as many of us hit the skies for holiday travel. We're here this morning to help with expert hacks to keep your head above water during the Christmas rush. So joining us this morning is frequent flyer and author Brandon Blewett. He is here with some top tips to make check-in to touchdown as seamless as possible. And we are all ears, Brandon. We know Christmas is a little over a week away and things can get a little crazy.
It can get very, very crazy this time of year because instead of it just being business travelers or leisure travelers over the elongated summer time period, it's all crammed into 1 week.
Yeah. Okay. So you are here to help us keep our cool through it all. Let's start with a campaign that wants to remind all of us to be more polite and respectful. The U.S. Department of Transportation, the Golden Age of Travel campaign. Touch on that for a moment and the awareness it wants to raise.
I really hope that this is something that can bring everybody together. As someone that lives in airports, that we can make travel more civil. Last two trips, I don't know how it's going, but I do actually think that there's been a lot of focus on wearing pajamas. And I remember during COVID when we were all working at home, and a mentor told me, get up every morning, change into workout clothes, do your workout in your living room, then go shower, change, and look, you don't have to put on a suit, but put on a golf polo, put on khaki shorts or jeans. And that will shift your mindset to, hey, I'm actually in work mode. And I do think that I'm not saying that everybody needs to go out and buy fancy clothes
or
wear a suit. Right, exactly. You want to be comfortable, but I do think that I had friends that when they were, working from home and in pajamas, they got irritated and frustrated because it felt like their time was being interrupted. And it's like, no, actually you're on a plane or you're supposed to be working right now. So I think it can elevate your mood a little bit.
Okay, so we got to shift the mindset. And one way to do that is what you put on and how you feel. What do you think is behind the 400% surge of unruly passengers, numbers we've seen since 2021?
I think one problem is that we reward it by people going viral. I think that's one negative aspect of social media. I think the other parts it's part airline, where I think all of these partnerships with credit cards where everybody has status, so everybody expects special treatment, and when everybody has status, nobody has it, and so there's a lot of frustrations. But I also think that we've just recently become so absorbed in our phones, in our own lives, and anything that interrupts that is just a huge, trigger for you to get upset. And I think that if we go back to, hey, what was life like before we just were constantly on our phone? There's so many times that someone's bumped into me, and if you look at them, smile, say you're sorry, you avoid a conflict, right? Exactly.
Yeah, we were on edge. So what are some tips to help us all just have a little woosah as we move around?
The biggest thing for me is getting a good night's sleep the night before, because that helps temper the crankiness, and also making sure that I've eaten. My mom used to say that you're not you when you're hungry, you become hangry, and so that helps keeps the nerves at bay. And then I would just say plan ahead. Use the airline's app to check for delays. Use Google Maps to see what traffic patterns are. If you can book parking in advance, do that. That'll help alleviate some of that stress.
Yeah, look at all those smiles. Nobody's stressing those photos we're seeing right there. And now someone with their feet kicked up. Right.
That is something you should not do.
I was going to say, let's get into some of the annoying behaviors, because the amount of time that you have clocked in the air is very impressive, Brandon.
Impressive. I like that word. Thank you.
Yeah, you don't hear it every day. That's why I'm like, but yeah, touch on that and just some of the annoying behaviors that you've seen on the go, and really just some advice on how to handle it.
I think one of especially this time of year, because you have a lot of people that are traveling that are not business travelers, right? And they have a bag in their hands and they have their backpack on their back. And I call it in the book the backpack wrecking crew. And it's when someone takes a turn to maybe, maneuver around somebody. And I'm an aisle seat guy. So, I'm the most prone to get a black eye because someone, takes a swing. I think what you should do is just make sure during the boarding process, if there's not somebody in the middle seat, lean in a little bit. If there's someone there, you might not want to do that. But just kind of stay aware of who's coming down the aisle. Do they have a bag on their back? And if you are one of those folks that has a backpack, think about carrying it in front of you, because then you're going to be a little more cognizant of where the bag is in relation to the plane and the other passengers.
Yeah. Not too long ago, I saw a photo that went viral. A woman apparently brought a whole crab boil onto the plane. I don't know how that happened, but this was going in on the shrimp and everything that was inside. And the facial expressions were just, it said it all. So if you're in a situation like that, someone just, had some smelly food, or just, their feet are up against your seat, or it's just a gross experience. But what's the first thing that you should do? And talk to those who feel like they should approach the person directly. Because that's not always the best idea.
I don't think that's always the best case. I do think that sometimes what's best is to get up, ask the flight attendant if this is a violation of any rule. Like if someone's feet are in your armrest, like that, they should not be doing that. So the flight attendant can come say, hey, you need to put your feet. I don't understand how that person got a shrimp boil either through security, because I've never been to an airport that's serving that. So
I'm like, look, now I'm like, was it AI? But listen, someone posted it and it was out there. So if that is the case, and something like that happened, it's best to notify.
I usually go to the crew first, because they're the professionals, and always treat them with respect, because they have to deal with so much.
Absolutely. Wow, what a great conversation. Great tips. You're also the author of a funny book. Tell folks the name of it one more time.
How to Avoid Strangers on Airplanes.
Yes.
It's not as curmudgeon as it sounds.
There's your website there, BrandonBlewett.com. Blewett, BLEWETT. Thank you, Brandon, for your time. Happy holidays.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.